Smile, you're on camera. Just kidding. But no, the big horror movie of this upcoming weekend is in fact called Smile. And if you haven't seen the trailer for it, it might seem very familiar to movies you've seen in the past. I definitely was getting a bunch of different vibes from this movie. I actually got the chance to have a sneak peek of it yesterday. And it was giving me a lot of like It Follows, Final Destination, The Ring, where, you kind of are cursed with something that's, being transferred from one person to another. And then you only have about a week or so or under even to kind of get this curse under control or even possibly beat. So there's a lot of elements of other horror movies that we've seen that you will see and feel very familiar. But for the most part, while it may not be the most original movie you're going to watch this year, if you love horror, I would say for a debut, because this is the director's debut, and I thought not a bad first movie. Not the greatest first movie, but for, a freshman effort, I thought it was pretty good. It's not going to be a movie I'll probably watch 100 times over, but that's not the point. I watch horror movies just because I love the genre, but also because I'm curious to see what they're going to do differently. I feel like with horror, almost every avenue, every plot, every story has been beaten to death. And it's like, what can you do with something that we've seen, but give it like a fresh perspective? And this one, we're like saying It Follows, if you've not seen it, but to give you a little bit of a gist, there's a curse that is being spread. It's transferred sexually. You have to actually have intercourse in order for it to spread. I know it sounds like a big metaphor for STD, but and this one is more like a traumatic spread. Like you have to have some sort of trauma or have been witness to someone else going through something very tragic in order for that to spread, which I thought was interesting because they do explore trauma in a different way. And they touch on that in ways that I thought were very important for a horror movie to do, because a lot of the time you go see a scary movie strictly just for the jump scares, or you go to see it for the gore or the blood. And this movie does give you plenty or a little bit of each of those. But I like that they hone in on the topic of trauma and really kind of show you what that could look like, and that this is kind of, again, maybe a metaphor for trauma in a way. I have to give a big shout out to Sosie Bacon, who's the lead actress of the film. I thought she did a terrific job. She carries the movie very nicely. And if there's one reason to really see the movie, aside from a few aesthetic reasons, which I thought were really well done, it would be for her. I thought she did a terrific job. And she's kind of a new face to the movies. I've never seen her in another movie before. But overall, like I said, it's a little bit derivative because of familiar storylines that we've seen. But for the most part, it's fun. It's a good first effort. And I'm curious to see what the director will do next. But for the slow September month, I guess, and weekend, this would be a movie if you're in the mood to watch something scary. Give it a whirl. Not the greatest, but something, you may smile or jump at. So